I like pooping in public or butt stuff.
I say butt stuff.
Butt stuff. You know what? You know what? I say butt stuff.
It's like I'm ordering from a menu. I'll go for the butt stuff.
Robbie!
Stephen Brooks. Happy New Year, sir.
Oh, Happy New Year. I'm curious if I'm going to, when I get to editing this, if I'm going to leave in that conversation of choosing the episode title. You have a meeting. We're recording this in the morning. You have a meeting in like 1 minute. And you joined this while sick.
Yes.
Look at, we're starting the new year off right.
Yeah, I got a nice little bug. Mm-hmm. Oh, a friendly neighborhood superbug.
Yes, the friendly neighborhood superbug. Yeah, exactly. So we have animation news. We talk about the Golden Globes. We talk about Popeye and Tintin entering the public domain. Upcoming movies. We do a trailer talk about the day the Earth blew up, and aforementioned, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and then the return of a favorite segment that may or may not have gone perfectly well.
I think it would. I think the whole show, from beginning to end.
Trust, Robbie. That's why I heard that from my nieces and nephews so much over the break. It's like a new thing.
Oh, is that the new thing?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, man. Well, I trust you to know, to have your ear to the ground, or what's the...
yeah, exactly. And I want to say welcome to episode 301 of the RubberOnion Animation Podcast, and we're calling this one Butt Stuff. You said it as a statement. Butt stuff.
Butt stuff.
It could be one T.
Yeah. Butenstaffen.
You have to get to work.
Yeah.
I'm Don Bluth.
I'm Harry Partridge.
Hi, I'm Tom Moore, teenage superhero.
My name's Adam Phillips.
This is Robert Valley.
And I'm in no way doing a forced plug. No, sorry. I won't say that.
And you're listening to... RubberOnion!
2, 1, go.
Go.
3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
That's fun. that countdown, by the way. I know I keep bringing this up about my dog. I swear I'm not gonna insert her into every episode. But she was just sleeping soundly, and that countdown for some reason got her. She's like, "What? What are we counting down to?"
It's like, what's going on? What's happening?
We finally got snow.
Yeah, it would have been nice around Christmas time.
It would have been nice.
Can't
yes.
complain.
I mean, I went up to Syracuse, and there was always snow there, so I had my snowy Christmas, but. No, it was nice. It was nice. It's always nice. At least in January, I know that I'll get something because January is the coldest month of the year.
I don't mean to rub it in, but it's even nicer when you don't have to go to work, commute to work, and you get work at home.
That is a big topic of conversation lately. A lot of companies have been going back into the office, and there's been a lot of talk about work from home or remote. See, you don't actually do a quote work from home. I would consider what you do remote work because you don't go into the office. So that's a different thing. I think remote work. It's kind of like the last episode where I had to define my difference between like freelance and contract when they're really this. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just I have to use different words to describe different types of freelance work. And
so you would say work from home is more like I have to work from home today.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's more like it's when you have an office presence, but there's some days that you work from home. But you don't work, like if you work in the office, you're only going there for parties. Like if there's like
I'm here to party and party.
Yeah. You go there, and I was kind of wondering this. I didn't actually ask you, but when you go in for a party, when you turn your computer on, do you have to like update all your stuff? Like you go in there and go like,
I don't even know how to use a computer when I get there.
But this is my point. It's like, what's the point of even going there at that point? It's like you're onboarding yourself in that day. We always lose like half a day to onboarding because people have to like update their software and things like that.
Well, yeah,
but
the
if
last
you're
time I was
working
there-
remotely and then you go into the office, a computer that hasn't been used in like an entire year, and you have to update all of your stuff, it's like you should have just like worked at home and then come in for the party.
I thought about that, but I thought, everyone's going to be there together. It's just kind of like, it's nice. It's nice when everyone's there. If it was mandatory that we all go in, of course it's nice to just roll out of bed and go on your computer. But, I would go with it. I know there's people who would fight for their right to stay home.
Fight
like the opposite
for the
of-
right
that's
to
like-
potty in peace. Not use that was a big source of, some people just don't like pooping in public.
Oh, I hate it. But I mean, it's fine if you have to poop in a, airport or something like that. But when the bathroom is right by the front desk, it's a little awkward because, listen, it's
That's why people would
can't
go
really
to
blow
like
up the
different
joint.
floors and things. Yeah. No, I totally get it.
And when you have
What
to
you
have
really
something done in,
need
like,
is
3
you need
hours.
that's why you need like a TV that's like on all the time out there. You need something that is, you can't have a silent hallway next to a bathroom. I mean, these are office things. So if everyone, what I mean is like if everyone was in the office and you were the only one working remotely, would you want to be in the office because you want to be around people? And the reason that you're working from home is because everyone is working from home. You'd be the only one in the office. Or is it you just prefer to be home and you would rather not be in the office and you would begrudgingly go in if they made you go, but that's not what you want to do?
I think I would want to be with everyone. If everyone started going, you feel a little kind of left out because there's a lot of moments that they talk about when they're all working. The guys I work with, they worked for each other for many years, so they have all these fun stories of when they were together. I also think, you get to bond with people more, being there in person. There's a lot of times you don't really say much, and you kind of like lose who you are, your character.
I do think that one of the things that was really interesting about the transition to work from home when we had the lockdown was in that initial part, we were all people who like worked alongside one another. So we already had a working relationship that made sense. And then we worked from home and we kind of extended that. Once people started being hired into a work from home situation and had never worked with the people who were already working from home, it was like, it's like they're coming into a team that's already pretty solid. How do we now create an environment where the new people can get a similar type of experience to get the working relationship with their coworkers in the same way that the people who already have it did when they were in the office? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I did that. I worked on that last season of Archer, and most of those people they had worked in the studio for so long, and they had this shorthand with everyone, and I came in and had never worked with anyone before, and it was like, I was definitely on an island. We all talked and everything, but it's like sitting at a lunch table with some really nice people, but they really only talk about inside jokes and stuff. So like, I'm very happy that they're letting me sit here, and they're all very nice, but I don't really feel included.
They're like, hey, chandelier hat. Yeah, the worst thing is being lost and feeling like everyone else knows exactly what they're doing, and then you don't know who to kind of message to be like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think we're still in that space. I can't remember. I think when we talked maybe during the work from home thing that maybe we said something like, it's going to take a few years to kind of settle out and see what this all looks like. And I think that's kind of part of it. Maybe because you're going to need to see what a team looks like that's hired completely remotely, that never really meets each other. I mean, that happens, but in a lot of different types of work scenarios. I think we're still like a few years out from seeing what that all looks like. Yeah. I'm split on it. I'm really split on it because I can do my best work. The best days I ever have working, like the most productive days, they're always from home. I mean, like, I can be the most productive possible at home. However, my worst days are also at home. Like, there's just sometimes that I'm like, I want to be productive, and I'm finding anything. I don't have that motivation. I just can't find it. And I'm surrounded by things that are, well, distracting, but I am using them as like anything I can get to get my serotonin up, you know, like, oh, maybe if I just take a little break or take a little walk around or maybe if I do the dishes or the laundry, maybe I'll feel productive, and then that'll make me, you know, it's just anything I'm trying. It's all the stuff that I did when I was like a freelancer and working from home. Just some days I just can't get anything done. And then other days I get a ton of stuff done, and it all kind of evens out to a certain, you know, amount. But in the office, I'm never as productive, but on my worst day, I'm more productive than my worst day at home. Like, it's just the boundary is just kind of more in the middle.
The last time I was in the office, I didn't get officially set up until 1:00 and rehearsals at 3.
But that's exactly what I mean about you only going in one time a year, and like your entire computer needs to be set up. What I mean is like
the computer didn't turn on. The guy took off
I know, but that's my point.
And it was like, it looks like it was stripped for parts. It wasn't,
right.
But it was just a big ordeal, and I just sat there.
Right. I mean, that's exactly my point. Is you either are in or you're out. The remote thing, I think, is pretty tricky, and not remote. I mean, like the hybrid thing is kind of tricky. You know, going in sometimes and, you know, leaving other times. You have to have like a really good system, like a remote system or a traveling system or something like that. I just mean that I'm split. I think it's going to come down to individual projects, like just which one makes sense. Is this remote forward or is it office forward? It's probably just going to be something like that. I don't know exactly about the hybrid thing. I think I've already kind of said it. It feels like I don't know exactly how that works. Maybe people will figure it out, and it'll totally make sense in like 10 years. But right now it just feels like it just makes more sense to kind of pick one to be mostly that, and then you do the other stuff.
Yeah.
like sometimes you work from home or sometimes you come in the office, but it, you know, probably just like I think it's hard to figure out how productive you're going to be, because it's different. I'm a different type of productive when I'm in the office than when I'm at home. When I'm at home, that's what I was saying, is when I'm at home, the max and the min are huge. Like I could be super productive or I can do absolutely nothing. It's kind of one or the other.
Yeah.
And then when I'm in the office, it's kind of just all in the middle. I'm just kind of I'm generally the same level of productive every day. I'm never amazing and I'm never terrible. It's just kind of all kind of in the middle. Yeah. So, but if you do sometimes in the office and sometimes at home, then the sometimes at home, are you going to be super productive when you're home, or are you going to have like a bad day? Like, you need to work from home all the time for that to even out. If you just do it every once in a while, it's I don't know. It feels like
it helps that we're on Zoom all the time, so you can't really just. It's not like we're all just kind of like, here's your assignment.
See, to me, that sounds like a nightmare. I would rather be in the office 7 days a week than have to be on Zoom for 6 hours? I don't know how long you're on.
I mean, we just started putting our cameras on now.
Dude, it doesn't matter. Camera on or microphone on, that sounds like a nightmare to me.
I mean, I'm constantly checking because, you know, I can't have my screaming panic attacks with my mic on, and then like, oh crap, you heard me yell at God because my computer's not rendering fast enough. Because obviously it's God's fault.
It's time for animation news of the week. Now we're doing this new thing. We might be hopefully, if we stick to it, we're going to do a episode 2 times a month, I think. So this is animation news of the week for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I guess that's the new definition of it.
Animation news of the weekish.
There you go. Oh, that's good. I like that. I mean, the first animation news story, obviously, it's the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes happened on this last Sunday as this recording. There's not really a lot to report on the Golden Globes as a whole because they don't really... It's not, let's just say it's not an animation forward event, but they do have a best animated feature category. Yeah. And we all kind of thought that Wild Robot was going to win just because that's what people have been talking about. They've been talking about Wild Robot.
It was up
against Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Moana 2, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and Flow. And who won?
Flow.
How about a dialogue-free animated movie from Latvia.
I haven't seen Wild Robot, but I would expect that's probably something that's new, but also kind of has all the elements. It has like the rough around the edges, the pulling at heartstrings, the commentary, where I think that would have won. I don't know much about Flow. I swear to you, I told you this through text. Up until now, I thought it was a video game.
Dude, I think I was trying to actually find, because you mentioned that, I was trying to find back in our text. I think you told me that in person. I think you said that there was like a really good looking
cat video game
where you're a cat. Yeah. Which I will admit, in the beginning of the trailer, it does kind of look like that. It really does look like a trailer for one of those kind of ambient open world games where you're a cat. It's like Untitled Cat Game, something like that.
Which, I mean, it's kind of a cool thing. I mean, it is a cool thing that something like this won. What I've heard is that the director, this is his kind of first time working with like a whole staff, and it's very new. Like I think he just started a new company, and like for the most part, he's been kind of working on its own on projects. So for something like this to kind of win it, I think people are looking for stuff that looks not polished. This is like when I saw it looked, when I saw the trailer for it, it looked not rendered enough. It looked kind of, it didn't look, the animation wasn't amazing. But
you didn't think the animation was amazing or the rendering was amazing?
Well, the animation was...
you started with rendering and then you went to animation.
Yeah, it just looks unpolished. And I think people are kind of looking for that look. I
think that makes sense. We kind of talked about it with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, that we're in this place now where people just really like the frayed edges kind of thing. I think it's pretty clear Wild Robot's still in the contention, just based on how Oscar voters usually vote. Every year we hear about how, I don't know, I didn't watch any of these, but my kid really likes this, whatever. And so they vote for it. That's annoyingly a lot of the voting that happens in the Oscars. So it could still be Wild Robot, because I think the whole story of Wild Robot is kind of about parenthood. It speaks to parents a lot, I think, is kind of what I heard. And then, it's cute designs. It's what Chris Sanders, right? One of those crowd pleaser kind of things that feels like it's probably going to get a lot of votes, where the voting group here is a bit different. They might go, "Ooh, it's dialogue free. This is all animal sounds." Except apparently the capybara, they didn't like the way actual capybaras sounded, so they just used I think a baby camel. It's just like, okay, so you just don't like it. It kind of reminds me of Braveheart. Like I remember. This will come around, I promise. I remember people complain the story's all wrong and the outfits are all wrong and everything. But all the bagpipes you hear in there, they should be using like Highland bagpipes, but they're using these, I think they're called like Julian bagpipes. They're like Irish bagpipes. They're not Scottish bagpipes. But this is supposed to be a Scottish hero. Like, you're not even playing.
We got rid of that.
The bagpipes are all over the movie.
Noise and replaced it with ukuleles.
So anyway, I think that probably with this, there's the voting. It's still up in the air of which one's going to win, but I definitely do want to see Flow. It seems very interesting. I was reading a little bit about it and how, God, the number that I saw was $4 million. Is that right? $4 million. That's
the total budget.
Crazy low. Yeah, the total budget. It looks like they did the pre and post production in Latvia, and then all of the animation and the sound, probably the music. I'm just all I saw was animation. Excuse me, and sound was done in France and Belgium, and I think the figure that I saw was $4 million. But the other thing that I saw was it's done in Blender.
Oh, look at that!
That's huge.
Yeah.
The people behind Blender and that whole community must be so excited. Like, if it wins Best Picture at the Oscars, a movie made in Blender, I think that's going to be a huge... I was just having this conversation with someone about programs that are being used in studios right now, and they were saying, "Oh, I want to learn, Blender." Blender's great. And I'm not saying anything against Blender. It's just I don't usually see jobs that are asking for someone who is good in Blender unless it's something to do with games and sometimes some kind of indie type project.
Smaller projects.
Right. But usually it's like, you're talking Maya, 3D Max, Cinema 4D, that kind of thing. If this wins, yeah, you're probably going to see, because one of the things that he says is that we kept our budget low because we used a free program.
I mean, it's smart.
Neat.
No, it's just a lot of especially younger people are trying Blender because apparently it might be easier. I tried it. I started getting into it and I dropped out of it.
You say that it looks unpolished or unfinished. I don't think it looks unfinished. I think there sometimes stylizing can look unfinished, and sometimes obviously they're cutting corners and going it's stylized. Yeah. I think it's, sometimes it reads as one, sometimes it reads as the other. It definitely reads as lower budget. That's pretty clear. But it also has a lot of water stuff in it, which,
oh yeah, the water looks great.
Water always ups the production value of anything, and I would not have immediately thought, oh, this looks like a lower budget. I mean, I wouldn't think that it had the budget of Wild Robot.
Yeah.
But it doesn't scream out at me as... I think it just looks more sketchy, I guess. Sketchy meaning as in a sketch, not sketchy as in shady, yeah. It just looks not smooth. I guess when you're saying polished, I might translate it as doesn't look as smooth.
Smooth. What was your reaction when Flow won? Your genuine reaction, was it shocked? Was it oh wow, surprised, pleasantly surprised?
Oh, look at that. That was my genuine reaction. I think I don't really have much of a dog in the fight this year kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think I just kind of looked at it. And then one.
Did you say that because a movie of Cat won?
I get it.
Yeah.
I think we're done with the story. Good job. Good job to Flo. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, looking forward to what flows up next. on to the next subject. Upcoming movies in 2025.
So that was so smooth, and also that is not the next subject.
No,
that's not the one that your name's next to.
No. Popeye.
There you go.
And Tintin.
This was your story that you put in this morning.
I forgot. I screwed up. Popeye. That's a little foreshadowing, I guess. Popeye and Tintin are up for a public domain.
Dang.
Now, I tried my hand at doing a Popeye parody to follow up my very successful Steamboat Willie short that I did that went viral, and I had no such luck this year. 400 views. Anyway, but so Popeye and Tintin. I didn't know Tintin was Tine until we said it in, I think, episode 7.
Episode 7, that's right.
Yeah. That's pretty much.
But can I just read out the stories in here? Can I just the amount of stories that we used to go through?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a Small World becomes a web series. Rest in peace, Peter O'Toole. Ari Folman to direct an animated film about Anne Frank. BoJack Horseman to be the next animated show by Netflix. Wow. Peter Jackson will direct a sequel to Tintin.
Wow.
The Croods, Despicable Me 2, Frozen, up for Golden Globe Best Animated Film.
Wow.
Corey Coleman starts a Kickstarter after Spill.com shutdown. Ron and John's secret movie project gets a name and date. I'm pretty sure that was Moana. Glenn Keane working for Motorola on new short. He-Man behind the scenes. Paul Dini says superhero cartoon execs don't want female audiences. Quote, the problem with princesses op-ed and new Powerpuff Girls special. Those are the stories that we talked about that week. Episode 7.
That's not even a rapid fire.
That's not a rapid fire. No.
Good Lord.
Yeah. We have been digging too deep into these stories.
Yeah,
that we've been on.
I don't know. Maybe for 5 episodes.
I'd be interested to see if anyone wants to comment, wants to share their thoughts. Have we been diving too deep into these stories? Have we been talking too much about these stories? Should we go back to just talking? I think each one of these, because I have them all listed off on the thing. Each one of these is like 2.5, 3 minutes, sometimes 5. One time there's like an 8-minute story.
Good Lord.
That episode was basically an hour and a half.
I mean, yeah, I can't imagine us doing that many stories now and tidying it up in a nice little bow.
Maybe we just talk too much about each story now.
I mean, back then I'd just go, huh.
Yeah, away,
Take it away, Steven. The most I remember Tintin from HBO. I remember watching the animated series on there, but other than that, I don't know too much about. Now, I'm a huge Popeye fan. But here are some of the rules of this Popeye that you can use. This is the Popeye that was made an appearance in 1929. It was his first appearance in the Timble Theater?
Don't try.
Timble Theater comic strips. Now, this is when Olive Oyl, she had her own kind of series, and it was all about the Olive Oyl family. And Popeye was just a side character that just kind of picked up. Similar to like how Urkel was supposed to be just in one episode and just became the star of the show. But this Popeye, as for now, this will change. If you do a parody of this Popeye, you can't have him eating spinach. He doesn't say his like catchphrases like, well, blow me down. I didn't write the catchphrase that he says here, but I think it's something to the nature of like, you think I'm a cowboy or something?
What? That's his original catchphrase.
Something about a cowboy. So you're free to say that. Now, when I did my parody, I did the Popeye voice.
But is the voice included?
No, I think the voice is more of Fleischer stuff like years later. But I think at some point, pretty much anything in the 20s is up for grabs, which I kind of like because I think, every horror movie is going to do parodies of Popeye, but they're also going to use 1920s music because 1920s music is horrifying in a trailer. There are so far 3 Popeye horror movies that are coming out. One of them is called Shimmer Me Timbers. The other one is
that's great. That's
Popeye,
great.
Popeye the Slayer Man.
Uh-huh.
And one that's not as creative is just Popeye's Revenge. So
pop out your eye.
I think this is exciting. I did get a negative review on one of my on my parody. Let me see if I saved it here. It was on. Well, the guy blocked me because I fired back. So his thing was predictively violent, gory, and awful. I've grown against public domain. It's always the same exploitive crap. create your own characters. Why do you repost this trash? Because somebody reposted it.
Maybe that comment is more for the person who reposted it. You know, sometimes.
Yeah. I think he didn't know I was going to see it, and I liked it, and and then I put the clip of Marge Simpson in Itchy and Scratchy when she was the squirrel. Don't do that! Don't do that! And he didn't like that too much, and he blocked me. But if you look at his profile page, he makes AI generated imagery. Create my own characters? Oh, really? Maybe I
Boom.
should
Mic
AI
drop.
Public domain.
AI ain't a stinker.
I think that's one of our best titles there.
AI ain't a stinker.
Yeah, so that's pretty much all I got to say about this. Popeye is a fun character. And,
Yes.
yeah.
Hey, remember we had him in, what did we call it? Panic Disco, something like, I can't remember what we called it, but it was the stop motion, if you want to call it that, thing that we made during our Paranorman video review.
Was it Paranorman? No, I think it was
Paranorman.
something else, because Paranorman Oh, no, it was.
It was just something. Oh, yeah, there you go. There's your Popeye. Oh, that is the Popeye. Yep, great. I mean, you're holding it up so that nobody at home can see it. But anyway,
you guys
that was
put your
fun.
ear
I did like those
your-
video reviews,
against your radios.
but they're a lot of work to do and to edit. Like, I think Rise of the Guardians I had a lot of fun with. And then, Wreck-It Ralph was also fun.
Oh,
He dressed up as Mario and
I recently got those outfits.
Oh, you did?
It just got all.
Well, I mean,
beat up.
it also brings back painful memories that you have told on this podcast before.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They had some stories to tell.
All right, and moving on to the next story. We just have a slate here of upcoming movies in 2025. I just kind of wanted to run through some of these just because, you know, I mean, I don't know about you, but I find it hard sometimes to, get out and watch movies.
Yeah.
I've wanted to watch Nosferatu for a bit. I've wanted to watch Wild Robot. I was going to rent not too long ago. And then it was just, something gets in the way, And then they're like, oh, it's going to be on Peacock in February. And I was like, all right. I mean, I guess I'll wait.
Yeah.
I guess I'll wait to see.
We're
when
more
it comes on
excited
Peacock.
to see movies that we already have seen.
Isn't that weird? Yeah.
Than new movies.
Yes. For some of the upcoming movies, I mean, the big ones, Elio is a new movie from Pixar. I mean, that's obviously going to be something. Then you got Wildwood from Laika. two animated movies on the life and times of Jesus Christ.
Oh man, yeah. Is that the one with the light of the world, right?
There's King of Kings, which looks like it is a South Korean animated film, and then there's Light of the World, which is directed by Tom Bancroft and John Schaefer. The production company is the Salvation Poem Project, which just...
Isn't that the latest Taylor Swift album?
The tortured Salvation Poem Project.
Light of the World, I feel like I said it looks like a mashup between Prince of Egypt and Emperor's New Groove, but an AI version of it.
There's nothing wrong visually with it. I'm not going to be watching it. It's just not. It's not my milieu. Let's say.
I mean, there's the other Jesus movie, Squarehead Jesus.
Oh yes, you mean the new SpongeBob SquarePants: The Search for SpongeBob or whatever it is. Well, you can watch that, or you could also watch The Bad Guys 2. Which comes out in August by DreamWorks Animation, who did Prince of Egypt. See, it all comes around. It's Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul already came out.
Yes, I was in England for Christmas, and I saw it on the BBC. But then it's already on Netflix,
Right.
so I didn't really get to watch it out there. We just had it on in the background, but I saw it during the weekend.
I see.
Yeah, really, I like it. It's not their best, but it's their kind of take on AI, and I think they do it in a clever way, and it's the return of an old character from The Wrong Trousers, Feather McGraw, And they have some
Feathers.
Feathers
McGraw. Feathers McGraw.
I love that character so much. I think it's like a cross between Michael Myers and a shark. And he's just like, but you could tell he like the way they managed to make characters think without really being too expressive.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's nice.
It's nice.
It's nice.
There's a dog man. That's I guess it's a offshoot of what's the Captain Underpants.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
There's another Witcher thing. I mean, Netflix just desperately wants The Witcher to work. They like, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, do your best. There's this movie that I'm kind of curious about, Night of the Zoopocalypse. Do you see that?
Yeah, I like how it looks. I just I feel like the character designs are really fun, but they do look very Aardman kind of looking.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can see that.
Nice rich colors.
Yeah, I guess I can see that. I do. I think the color design is fun. The character design is fun. I was just I don't know how Clive Barker is involved in this, but it says from the mind of Clive Barker, so that's fun.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so there's that. Elio is something we've been hearing about for a bit, from Pixar. It started just so many of these movies. It starts out with one director and then gets assigned to another director. Domi Shi and Madeline Sharafian, I guess. Domi Shi did Turning Red and Bao. Remember that animated short Bao?
Oh yeah.
There's a Smurfs musical coming, which I have kind of recently realized that I don't vibe with musicals. I just don't. They're really hard for me. I just don't really vibe with them.
I mean, South Park is just my favorite animated musical.
I think that is something. I think when I think I can really only like a musical if it is silly. I guess if it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of campy thing. It's like, we know musicals are kind of silly, but like let's have our fun with it, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
And sure, they did it lovingly, but still. Zootopia 2 is coming out in November. We got other things. We got this Animal Farm movie, Decorado. Do you remember the Unicorn Wars?
Yeah, I've never seen it, but it was something.
So that same guy is coming out with a new movie.
I like his style. I like the way the designs look and stuff. Just gotta get past that. It's is it French?
Spanish, I think.
Oh, Spanish. See, now that makes me worse because I should speak Spanish, but I have trouble with it, and so reading subtitles. I can't look at the animation while reading subtitles.
Why can't you do the dub?
Oh, I guess I could do that as well. Yeah.
There you go. Problem solved.
That's what we do here. We solve problems.
But there is another movie that's going to be coming out in about a month and a half, February 28th. And that is the source of our next story, which also goes into our next category. I mean, we're done with animation news of the week because it's now we have so many things. We're talking about upcoming movies and films and TV shows and things, and now it's time for trailer talk. That was good. Yeah, I like how we did that. Totally natural.
Yeah.
So this is a topic. Obviously, we're talking about trailers. You should probably watch these trailers if you're going to hear us talk about them. But we want to separate these from the animation news so that we can specifically give you an opportunity to okay, here, watch these trailers. And also, we're not going to be talking about the movies. We're not reviewing the movies. We're just talking about the trailers. And sometimes that is talking about marketing stuff because that's basically what a trailer is.
We were talking about earlier how it's difficult to go to the movie theaters to go see a movie. This one I am guaranteed going to go see, and I recommend everyone go see The Day the Earth Blew Up.
Look at you shilling for a massive media conglomerate in Warner.
Right.
Isn't it really funny now that I just want to start by saying this. Now that we have movies from Warner Brothers that have been like shelved, like we have animated properties, we have big features, things that have just been killed that we now know that's a possibility. This animated film comes out and people are like, you gotta go and you gotta support it when it is a Warner Brothers. It is a Warner Brothers animated
this small
film.
indie project.
And somehow like we're talking about Flow and how they made it for like $4 million on Blender on a free program. It's a Latvian movie where this guy's previous film was all self-funded, and we're like, you know what? There's one movie this year that we're gonna go see. It is a Warner Brothers animated film. You gotta support the arts, people. But it's
unknown
true.
original characters.
I understand the idea. It's just funny to me that's like, if I were more conspiratorial, I might be like, what an interesting plan this was to get people to come out en masse and support. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, it totally makes sense.
Do you get my point?
Yeah, and people are almost doing this in the hopes that if it does so well, the Wile E. Coyote movie will
give it
come out
up,
of the
guys.
grave. And I
Give
don't know
it
if that's
up.
gonna work.
I have seen even legitimate blogs, if you want to call them that, have also come out and been like, hashtag release. Listen, if it does, I will happily eat my words. I would love to see that movie. Fight the good fight if that's the fight that you think needs to be fought. I just don't see a world where they reverse that decision, and not anytime soon.
Yeah.
Like that, it's not getting. That was already killed, and it's already been put into the books. I just don't see how that is ever coming out. They're just going to keep moving forward.
It would be nice,
It would be great. I would love it. Did you read the thing that we're not supposed to read, which was the entire treatment of the movie, like the whole?
Oh,
the whole script was leaked.
Oh, yeah.
Of which I do not know. Just saying, this is the rumor that I heard that I definitely maybe did not probably read.
Mm-hmm. I didn't read it out of protest. I was like, nope, this is against the law, and yeah.
If that was a thing that had transpired, I would say that it was probably fine. So the idea that the only thing you have is the words and not the visuals and the acting, which are probably a gigantic portion of the entertainment of this particular thing, is even a bigger bummer, I think.
Yeah. And if we do have any friends who worked on that project and maybe has like a clip that they want to show us, I would say don't do it.
No, actually, I am going to say, do not send me anything like that. Do not send Rob anything like that. Do not implicate us in this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the day the Earth blew up.
Yes.
It's the trailer that we are talking about is about 1 minute and 10 seconds. What do you think about it?
I think it's very fast paced. I think this style is fun. They have a little bit of they're trying to go for gory, but it's not gory because it's cartoony pink bubblegum looking thing. I guess they're doing like a kind of Cronenberg kind of style. There's a weird part with Daffy and like the aliens' tongues meeting together, and it just looks like a weird hentai thing. It's oddly.
No, you know what it looks like? Do you remember that? Now I forget what it was called. Is it Prank or what was it? The animated short with the birds that.
Oh yeah. Oh God, what's his name? I can't. He does a lot of stuff for me, Kang, something art. Is it George?
Prank Time, right?
Yeah.
Was it Prank Time?
Yeah.
Jamie.
Oh, okay.
I don't know his last name. Jamie.
I think like Rodriguez or something to that nature.
It's R. It's Jamie Rodriguez. Yeah, that's the one.
But
it's Your Lovely Lovers is what it is. It's the two
with the
birds that kind of make out. Yeah.
Now you had mentioned this style is more of the HBO series of Looney Tunes shorts.
Yes, it is. But this Daffy, they have really taken this Daffy back to kind of an earlier Daffy and a lot of is physical kind of what I call the Woody Woodpecker Daffy. Mm-hmm. The one where it's and he's like bouncing around and going, that's this Daffy. And there is a lot of like butt jokes in this.
Yeah.
There's a couple Daffy butt jokes. There's a bubble gum coming out of a dog's butt.
Porky Pig slams into a woman's butt. Like,
yes, it's very silly. There is a guy getting up from the movie and like walking out. It looks like Mystery Science Theater 3000.
They've done a ton of that
kind of thing.
In the older Looney Tunes shorts because they were mostly in theaters. But this is like the first.
So this is what I'm saying is that I feel like this feels like a throwback made for kids now who need a faster pace with more like ridiculousness back. Remember when we were talking about comedy and how like there's a story about, I think it's like the first time someone said like a swear word, which I can say in the United States because it's bloody and like that's not really a swear word here, but like he said it on stage, I think, and got like it was like a 40-minute laughing fit standing ovation thing. It was a crazy, like people lost their minds because they said that on stage. And then some of this like vaudevillian thing, someone falling down would make someone double over in laughter. Like it was just the funniest thing in the world. You know, what makes you laugh and what is ridiculous and what is kind of wild and unexpected, that kind of laughter, that changes. The stuff that they're doing here is like more for the kids today.
Yeah, I mean, it does have a lot of SpongeBob, Ren and Stimpy kind of stuff, but I would also say it's very like Bob Clampett. Like if you look at
of course,
Baby Bottleneck. Yeah, you remember that where Daffy and Porky are running some like baby factory kind of thing, and it's very like all over the place. And I think this is very much like they're trying to emulate that kind of like the great piggy bank robbery, or whatever. That kind of like, you know, messy, all over the place, bouncy comedy. I think you froze.
No, I didn't freeze. I'm listening.
You're so good at that.
No, because I think we're saying the exact same thing. I think that it's a combination of like old style with new, like the you gotta throw in some butt stuff. You gotta throw in like the weird tongue thing, the monsters. I mean, and this is a minute and 10 seconds. 15 seconds of it is black and white, and then there's fourth wall breaking things. There's a lot of like crazy shots. The colors and environments change a lot. It's it feels wild and wacky, I guess is the way that I would describe it. It looks like it's going to be a fun time for kids. I wonder if it's going to hold up for adults watching it, or if it's going to be, this is maybe too much. But
surprisingly, this is like the Looney Tunes' first fully 2D animated movie. Like they had shorts and, you know, the live action crossover stuff, but and surprisingly, it's not Bugs Bunny.
You mean fully?
Yeah, fully animated.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm absolutely in love with the look of the movie. I think they hit a really good balance of the backgrounds, the kind of like, you know, more rendered backgrounds, but they're not. I think what happens sometimes is that backgrounds, especially in animated film, they get rendered maybe too detailed. They have like too much stuff.
Yeah. And
can distract or stand out from the characters that are in front. And I think I absolutely love what they're doing with the balance of background design and characters in the foreground. It hits exactly the balance that I feel like I remember and that I appreciate whenever I watch older Looney Tunes, and what I like about the new Looney Tunes series, although I think that sometimes it dives into, maybe too complicated backgrounds every once in a while, but this fits perfectly.
It does
just
seem
scrolling
like...
through, you can just like look at the backgrounds as you're going through. Like they're really not. How can I describe? I think that sometimes people get obsessed with making the backgrounds look like they're pieces of art on their own, when really, especially for Looney Tunes, there should be gigantic dead spaces. They should not be art on their own. They should have big dead spaces there for the characters to take up. Like you have to incorporate where the layout. That's where the characters are going to be, and
you don't want the characters to get lost with the background.
Right, exactly. Yeah. The background can get too busy. I mean, even I'm in this. Let me just share my screen real quick. I'm gonna describe it for the audience, but I'm gonna show you this shot here with them in a control room. The floor is a very simple floor with very simple non-gradient shadow, which I appreciate. They do have reflection, kind of like Gaussian blur in the reflection. The control panel in the background, it's simple. It's not a lot of like different colored lights and things like that. It's just white on this kind of muted gold, brown color, and then in the wall behind them, there's nothing. Your eye is completely on the characters in front. Any other background, this entire or any other show or animated film, this background would be so busy, and then you would need to like blur the heck out of it, or you would need to try to adjust the colors or something to make the characters in the foreground pop out. Like this, to me, this feels married very well together. I guess that's
I love when they use.
I really, really like it. I
primary
really,
colors,
really
but then
like it.
Have like a muted gray over it, so it's not completely bright.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie and how it. Hopefully, if it does well, God, I would love to see more art direction like that.
Yeah.
Because we tend to overcomplicate things, especially in the background design place, and this feels like it is the entire frame is thought of holistically. The characters in the front, the background, the colors, the art direction is very
it's wild.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Unhinged, and just it looks spontaneous and fun. And then there's our next.
Well, our next story is our next trailer is Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Listen, you know how I love Spider-Man. I love Peter Spider-Man and his aunt and uncle,
the Spider-Mans.
How do you feel about the look of it?
So I remember MTV had a Spider-Man series.
I was just going to bring that up. I just want a very quick reaction. What are your feelings on the look of it?
It's okay.
There you go. I feel similarly. I understand they're going CG and then they're making it like kind of look comic book shade, inked on top of it. But there's always something that looks a little slidey, I guess. Whenever you do something like that, it feels, but I think kids are really going to like it. So it's one of those things that I can't really say. And maybe the budget also, like they really need to do this in CG so that they can, they're working with models and they're doing action in environments, and I get it. I get why they would go for something like this. It's I would have probably preferred a 2D. I tend to prefer 2D animated stuff in general, so I guess that's just me. But especially for TV, and I think I'm just I love the Spectacular Spider-Man when that was on. I really liked the action scenes that they were able to do. There's something that's just feels to me a bit more fun when there is a 2D animated action scene. It feels like a little animated short there, and this kind of feels like more I hate to be the person that says like a cutscene in a game, but it feels a little bit more like like a story point in a game rather than like a special moment in a 2D animated short. But I think that's just a style thing for me.
Yeah, I feel like I saw earlier designs of this where it looked closer to like the old comics, and maybe it just needs some texture to it, or there's something missing.
I think if you pause it, it looks great. It's just the movement. And, obviously that's my entire career is movement. So maybe I have, it's part of the problem is I just, yeah, right, exactly. I like to move it. But if at any point in this trailer, if you pause it, it looks great. It just kind of, I think I'm constantly looking at this, expecting and hoping that it's going to be 2D animated, and it's
I think a lot of the movement seems very robotic. Whenever people turn, it's just their head does just like their whole body is turning like an animatronic,
right? But the look of it is fun. I mean, I like the look of it.
I like the color, the dark shading, solid black shading, and I'm sure inking. I'm sure maybe in time if it gets another, it'll progress.
I think it's going to stay. I think it's going to stay like this. I think obviously the big question is will it hold up story-wise when you watch it. Now, X-Men 97 was something that was I think tweens might like it. I don't exactly know how it did, but I do think that there were a lot of people that were in their 20s and early 30s that I saw that were watching it and liked it. I think once you get up around our age, we started to fall off a bit. We were like, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. And I did. I really liked some of it, but some of it was also very hard to listen to. It was I had mixed results on it. I did like it. I enjoyed it. But it was, there were just some parts that I was like, oof, that's a little rough to watch. But then other parts I was like, oh, that's really buttoned up, and I really like that. Maybe the skew's a little younger because I think, maybe they're going to want, if they call it the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and it looks like this, I think they're probably going to skew younger.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily hate it. I just
no.
I can see myself watching.
I just I'm not drawn to this style of animation, but I love Spider-Man, so you're always going to get me.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. You were bringing up the Neil Patrick Harris MTV CG Spider-Man earlier.
Yeah, which I loved watching it back then, but I guess it's because I didn't really see much like that other than, Reboot or something.
The Shocker.
Oh, yeah. Was that the one? Oh no, that wasn't the one that had the theme song. Spider-Man.
No, that was the Spider-Man TAS, the animated series. That was the one in the 90s on Fox. That was alongside X-Men. So this whole like X-Men 97 and now this one, I guess that one was an extension of the X-Men from the 90s, and this one feels more like design-wise, I guess, or look-wise, it feels more like the Ultimate Spider-Man that came out after Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah.
As opposed to a throwback to the 90s kind of thing.
They're always hyping up Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is the most humble one. Everything else is Ultimate.
Well, so that's the thing.
Spider-Man.
Other people call him the Amazing and the Spectacular Spider-Man. Okay. He always refers to himself as your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man because everyone hates him, and he's just trying to say, I'm friendly and approachable. I don't know why I decided to call myself a Spider-Man because people hate spiders. Like, what if I just called myself the friendly Superbug? I mean, Bug is cuter.
Superbug is not great.
Oh, Superbug's not good because Superbug feels like it's like in the time of COVID.
I think that's what I got right now.
The Superbug. Listen, I don't hate it. I think it's fine, but that's not the barrier of entry for a show. Yeah.
There's a million Spider-Man,
but it's not for us.
Yeah,
it's not for us. It's for. And I don't want to. I never want to say like, oh, it's just for kids. It can't be, whatever. But I do think that stuff that skews younger it has different goals. And this one, I think, yeah, man, when I talk to my nieces and nephews, they like 3D stuff. Excuse me. They like 3D stuff.
Oh, 3D is still hip with the kids?
They like 3D stuff.
Is it only us old millennials who are like, bring 2D back?
Yes. As I've always said, the bring 2D back crowd is a lot like the MAGA crowd. Animation is a pretty conservative.
It's January 7th right now, mind you.
I know it's January 7th. Well, that's the thing is that I just
we're gonna storm Pixar.
The more that I got out and the more that I went to events and things like that, I was like, this is. I don't know. There are more conservative people in animation than I had previously expected. I think everyone just kind of assumes, oh, it's art. I've said this a bunch, but I do think there's a bubble. You can kind of keep yourself in your own bubble, and if you do, you're probably surrounding yourself with people that are like-minded and stuff like that. But the wider animation, especially the people who put money behind animation, sometimes tend to skew. We have 2 Jesus movies coming out this year.
I mean, yeah, none of them 2D. Which Prince of Egypt, I looked at it not so long ago because I was getting a haircut, and the guys that were cutting my hair had it on in the background. Still looks.
Listen,
amazing.
I'm not saying the movies can't be good. I'm just saying, like, you choose the subject matter you choose. It's either bubblegum coming out of a dog's butt in front of Daffy Duck, or it's Jesus Christ. Well, I think we're good with our stories. I don't think there's anything else to really.
No, I think that's it. I think
like rapid fire. Yes, it's for rapid fire. I just scared the crap out of my dog. It's back. We only have a few stories here, and we're gonna go through it very quickly. But this is where we didn't really have a lot to say about the story as a whole, but we still wanted to bring it up and possibly get you interested in maybe your comments on things. So I'm going to bring up all these stories, and I'm going to throw it to you, Rob, to give your thoughts on it within, let's say, about 20 seconds, and then I will move on to the next one. How's that sound?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, all right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right. And rapid fire. Animated Ghostbusters movie is on its way. What do you think?
Well, listen, there's something new in the neighborhood, and it's Ghostbusters again. I think the guy who's doing this is the same guy who did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and the Wallabies, whatever that was. I think
Willoughbys. We talked about the Willoughbys on the show.
Yeah. So it's definitely going to be more on the cartoony, goofy side, which I'm interested in seeing that.
I think that the Ghostbusters franchise is something that they have really, really tried to make work in a super popular way over the years, and I feel like hopefully this is another example of how, hey, maybe if you have a franchise like this, maybe the right place for it is animation. Maybe it is not in a kind of bigger budget visual effects extravaganza that is also trying to be a kid's movie, that is also trying to be things for. Can't be everything. Maybe animation is your secret weapon. That's what I think. I think it could work.
100%.
Rapid fire. TAG, the Animation Guild, ratifies the new contract. It was a bit, I wouldn't say touch and go, but AI, man, it is going to be the hot button issue for this entire generation. I think it's gonna stay the hot button issue for the next like 10, 20 years.
Every year, it just seems like that's the major thing. But yeah, there's some good benefits in here. I think increase in health and pension funds is the most important one, honestly.
What you want out of a job is you want stable work, a salary that makes sense for the amount of work that you're doing, retirement, and healthcare that you can have year-round or carry from job to job so you don't have to keep changing doctors. You make progress in those, that's a good thing. AI is a new factor, and no one is going to be happy if and when AI never goes away. Okay, yep. Rapid fire. There's a story that Disney cut a trans storyline out of the show called Win or Lose, which I think just continues my animation is an upsettingly conservative place sometimes. It's true. You're dealing with big. I was trying to think of that's a terrible Popeye.
Yeah, we gotta starve Mr. Capita.
Hashtag not my. I can't do Popeye. Listen, it's terrible. Disney. It doesn't surprise me that Disney doesn't want to. Like, everyone is always looking at Disney to push the boundaries on things. They just that's just not what they do.
But they do make their icons rainbows.
If there's one thing that I think they always appreciate around gay pride is giant corporations to don the flag. I think that's always appreciated.
Yeah, they have that rainbow connection.
Rapid fire. This one is kind of The Simpsons and Bob's Burgers might shift to Wednesday. That's kind of a rumor. The animation domination on Fox. The Sunday lineup is Family Guy, Grimmsburg, Great North, and Crapopolis. Simpsons and Bob's Burgers were not put on there.
Simpsons has been on Sundays for years. I remember when it was on Thursday nights, and it seemed like a big deal. And they haven't changed it since I was a kid. So I guess I'm going to have to watch it on Hulu on Thursdays now. So it kind of makes me feel like I'm a child again.
That's cute.
Yeah, thanks, Fox. And I look forward to Metal Crapopolis.
Oh, Crapopolis?
Yeah.
Metal Crapopolis?
I think I'm merging two different.
Yes, Metalopolis. Hey, look, we did it. We've recorded longer than we were planning to, but I think it kind of worked out. So that'll do it for this episode of the RubberOnion Animation Podcast. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Rob, why don't you tell them how they can follow you on the internet?
At Rob UFO on all kinds of things, and I might set up a blue. Is it Blue Sky? Yeah, I think I'm gonna set up that one soon, and then I'll abandon it like Threads.
That's good. I'm
Stephen
Brooks. I'm the Rubber Onion, and I have some recommendations that I probably should put into another segment at some point. But their Frame Store is doing this Directing the Invisible Art thing. It's directors talking about working with visual effects, and it's kind of interesting. You can check it out on YouTube. And She Drew That releases their 2024 wage survey results, which you should check out. It's for the UK, but it's still, it's still applicable here, so I think that's all good. We will see you guys in a couple weeks.
See ya.
Wow, that was quick. Just bye.